with a one-on-one session, I feel like I can really focus on what Raj was teaching me, and not just because it's like a film sort of mentorship, but I was able to understand everything he was showing me because it's just one on one and there's no one else around me. So that stress kind of goes down for me personally. And then, even then, it's easier for me to ask questions, no matter how stupid I might think some of my questions might be. I still felt comfortable being able to do that.
Hi everyone, I am back again with another student testimonial. I have another student who had finished my action boarding mentorship last year, and I'm only just getting to talk to him about his experience. I would like to introduce you to Armin. Armin, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, like you said, my name is Armin, and I'm originally from San Diego, California. Hoping to move to LA at some point when I can afford it. um, and yeah, I am a storyboard artist and 2D animator. My last role that I worked at was a graphic design company called Knowledge City, where I was a storyboard artist and also a supervisor. But now I'm aspiring to work more in the entertainment side, so basically feature TV games, but preferably feature.
Awesome.
So that's why I took this mentorship.
Awesome, awesome. So, Armin, the first question I want to ask you is right now, especially since COVID, there's a lot of mentorships and classes online with regards to storyboarding. I want to know, what was the reason why you decided to specifically take my mentorship instead of going and choosing one of the many other classes and mentorships out there?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, when I was first getting into storyboarding, I remember when at the time, I watched a lot of different shows, like not even our animation related shows, but like, Gordon Ramsay kind of shows, like stuff like that, where it's an industry that's competitive, and a lot of people have talked about having mentors, and even the mentors themselves, like Gordon Ramsay himself, saying that that is what got him into the field that he wanted. And that's why he's this, big, famous chef.
Yeah.
And then when I saw that, I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't just be taking the traditional route, going to school and trying to find an internship and then just working from there, because I found out late in life that that's not always the case, because I'm someone that did go to school for animation. I got my degree. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any kind of internship or mentorship or anything like that. However, I was very serious about this whole thing, and I wanted to find someone that I can just really click with, and that can also click with me as well, with the way I work, and I can understand how they work in this industry. And I just feel like out of everyone I saw, when I came across Raj's work on Instagram, I'm like, okay, his storyboards look so fire. Like, he knows how to make them very clear and crisp, but also quick with how he works. I can like see that in his work. And also the fact that he's currently working on Netflix feature, and I want to work as a storyboard artist in feature animation. So that's why I just decided, you know what, let me give this guy a call, see how it goes with the the testimonials and all that, and then I was hooked. Then, and 5 weeks, actually, a couple of months later, now we're here.
Yeah, awesome, man. And when you saw my work, it was nice to be able to actually talk to you in the consultation and find out exactly what are your goals, what are you want to accomplish, and sometimes when I talk to students, sometimes I turn them away because sometimes it mightn't be the right thing for them to do, and that's why I kind of like to talk to you guys before and let you know exactly what you're getting into and not just sign up and the first time you meet me is in the class. So it was pretty cool to talk to you and find out exactly what you wanted to do. All right.
For sure.
So the next question I want to ask you, Armin, is over the 5 weeks, you were able to develop an original action sequence, right? Um, if you had to describe the process of developing that sequence in the mentorship with me, like how would you describe that process?
Honestly, I would say it was a very like clear, precise process because for someone like me, I haven't really worked in that genre, like action storyboarding, like professionally or even just on my own free time. But I think as far as like, is it okay to say exactly what you taught me for each session?
You
Like,
can
yeah,
mention
uh,
it.
awesome, yeah. Because like I remember when we first got started, you were showing me, first you start off with showing me scenes in movies, like a lot of movies that I was familiar with, which was nice. What was called like the masculine and the feminine shots. Like first would be focused on just the action scenes, but then you would take out the feminine shots, which were sort of the emotional impacts and feelings that the characters had. And then when I was watching, I'm like, okay, I do feel something, and that's boredom because it's
Yeah,
just action,
yeah.
and there's no other like reaction to that. So then, once we got to that, we got to the thumbnail process. And then that's when I remember when I first did that, I just went straight to the point and started making the lines not so loose and trying to get straight to the point of what the story was about. And then I thought maybe I wasn't actually taking the mentorship seriously at first, which I knew I should have done. And I know you mentioned that to me. So then I started to get a little, I guess, a little more pressure to like help me out a little bit. And then as the sessions went on, I started to come up with more thumbnails and trying to, draw more loose, like do more observational sketches and drawing every day so I can actually get better at that. And then once it went on to the other sessions, like how to draw an action scene with fighting or if it's a chase scene. And then when it comes to the final session with rhythm and movement, I think everything was set up very accordingly. Like where it starts off with the stuff that's maybe easier to understand, at least for me personally. I was able to watch all the scenes and see, like, okay, that's a masculine shot, that's a feminine shot. And then when it gets to the end with the rhythm and movement lessons, I think those were things that I just did not know about
Yeah.
at all when it comes to feature storyboarding. So yeah, long story short, I would say it was set up very nice and accordingly and easy enough for me to understand. And yeah.
Yeah. And I actually had to give you like a Gordon Ramsay speech when you weren't like doing the sequences and you were like not moving fast enough. Right? So I told you like, hey, this is when you're in feature, you gotta move faster, faster. And then from that point, you're like, oh shit, like I really need to buck up and get this thing done. And then following week, you actually did like a full pass of the sequence, whereas before you were kind of like struggling like in the beginning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the next question I want to ask you is, um, for you personally, everyone kind of like takes different things from the mentorship, but what would you say was the most valuable part of the mentorship for you?
That's a very good question. I feel like there's so many things I can think of, but one thing I do like is the fact that this mentorship specifically is a one-on-one thing. Like me personally, I did not like going to school. I always was too afraid to ask questions or even try to listen and be focused in the lessons, whether it was something that I wasn't interested in or if it's a subject I did like. But with a one-on-one session, I feel like I can really focus on what Raj was teaching me, and not just because it's like a film sort of mentorship, but I was able to understand everything he was showing me because it's just one on one and there's no one else around me. So that stress kind of goes down for me personally. And then, even then, it's easier for me to ask questions, no matter how stupid I might think some of my questions might be. I still felt comfortable being able to do that. And then from there, I was able to get so much feedback because if I wasn't asking all these questions, then I feel like after taking this mentorship, I might still be a little bit lost afterwards. So I'm like, okay, I'm paying for this mentorship and trying to get the most valuable insight out of this. So I was gonna take full advantage of it as best as I can. And I honestly thought I did. So yeah, that's what I would say. Just the fact that it's one on one, you being able to be patient with the questions I asked, and yeah, that's what I would say.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. So the last question I want to ask you, or maybe second to last, is since you went through the mentorship and you know exactly what I teach and how I mentor people, who would you recommend this mentorship to?
I would say it fairly depends on the person because I know a lot of people that I connected with who are coming into this late in the game, or they're looking for mentorships or currently taking one and they're fresh out of high school or have just started going to college, or they're like me where like for me, I'm in my late 20s and I went to school, take the traditional route, but I'm still trying to like improve on certain aspects as far as storyboarding. So I honestly think that if I had to pick, I guess the best ideal candidate would be maybe someone that's like not even like junior or senior level, but maybe like a little bit before that. Like if you have, let's say, a year to 3 years experience, whether it's in the industry or any sort of like fine arts field. Like for me, I've worked as a storyboard artist, but it was for a graphic design company and not in the industry necessarily. So I thought, okay, I have some experience, but I know I want to get better and like learn more aspects to this field. So yeah, maybe someone that's like in that intermediate side, but I do believe that it does depend on the person how committed they are to taking a mentorship, and it also doesn't matter like how old you are or if you're going to school or not, because I feel like that's just like total BS when people say like you have to do something like this early on, and when you reach a certain age it's too late. Like
Yeah.
that's why I say I think basically anyone can do this.
Yeah, definitely. Like age is definitely a number. I broke in like super late. So it doesn't really matter what stage in your life. If you really want to do something, you should definitely pursue it. So yeah, Armin, thank you for your answer. If for those of you who are watching out there, and you're still kind of like not sure whether the mentorship might be, something that is right for you, you can message me, you can message Armin, you can ask him questions about his experience, or you can message me to schedule a consultation call, a free consultation call, and we could talk about where you are, where you want to be, and to see if this is the right mentorship for you, or if you should, take a pause and do something before coming to this mentorship. Because the way I see this mentorship, it's kind of like a premium service. It's specifically focused on you and your goals, and you don't have to actually share me with anyone else. You could ask stupid questions. There's no stupid questions, but you can ask your stupid questions, and you can feel safe that nobody's judging you. I'm here to basically help you get where you want to be, right? So Armin, the last thing I want to ask you is if anyone wants to find your work portfolio, or the social medias, where can they actually find you?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm primarily more on Instagram. So my art Instagram is Eba Design. So it's spelled EBADASIGN. And then I also have my LinkedIn, which is just my name, Armin Ebida. And then I have a MySpace, but I mean that's like old school. So
Yeah, awesome.
um, yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome. So, guys, if you want to ask Armin any more questions, you could reach out to him. If you want to see his work, or the work that he did in the mentorship, you could reach out to him. Um, I might edit Armin's, sequence into the interview, so you might be able to see a piece of it while we're talking about it. But you could also follow him to see more of his work as well. All right. So, Armin, thank you very much. And for those of you watching, thank you so much for watching and hearing Armin's experience. Maybe we might work in the future. And if you want to, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you guys for watching again. Take care and see you soon. Bye bye.
Guys.